welcome to Lady O's kitchen. Today I am very excited because we are making chicken stew. I really grew up to eat this chicken stew, especially during Christmas period. Oh my God, I remember the good old days. So here I have my chicken. My chicken had been well seasoned and baked. I have my crushed tomato. I have my onions. Whenever I'm cooking my stew, I slice my onions in a ring shape. I think I got this idea from my mother because I remember in those days when my mother is cooking her stew, this is how she slices her onions, and when you are eating your rice, the onions will be on top of the rice. You just bring it out and be chewing it. So I really love my onions this way when I'm cooking my stew. So here I have my vegetable oil. My pepper had been blended here. I didn't want to pour it in a container because I still wanted it to stay in the blender and be covered, because it seems like when you pour it from the container, all the flavor will just disappear into the air. So I just wanted it to remain here and remain tight in the blender. So also I have my seasoning agent. Here is my rosemary leaves. I have my garlic powder. I have my grounded ginger. I have my oregano leaves, Italian seasoning, parsley, black pepper. So with all these ingredients and condiments. Okay, I also have my knorr cube here. My knorr cube is a chicken knorr cube. When I'm cooking my stew, I'm using the chicken knorr cube, not the ordinary type, because it will go with the chicken itself. So with all these ingredients, the stew is going to be so delicious. Let us just move to the cooking process. Here we go. My pot is already on the stove. It is dry. So I'm going to pour in my vegetable oil. Not too much vegetable oil, but just enough, because I have lots of onions as usual. So I will not really allow my oil to bleach. No, it's not good to allow your oil to bleach out, so that it will still retain some of the vitamins and minerals. So I'm going to pour in lots of onions. You guys know that I really love lots of onions. There's nothing wrong in cooking with lots of onions. This will really give it a very good taste. And of course, you know that onions is good for the body. So I'm just pouring in my onions, and I will cover my pot and allow it to simmer. So the onions have been steaming for a while. It's time for me to add up some salt. Even though I did not introduce my salt when I was introducing other condiments, we all know that there is no how we are cooking without salt. So the essence of adding salt to the onions before the tomato is simply because the salt has to really get into the onions. And when it gets into the onions, it makes the onions to taste really good. So I like adding my salt to the onions before pouring in my tomato, so that the salt will really get into the onions. If not, the tomato will come and wash off the salt from the onions. So, with that being done, I will cover it up again and still allow it to simmer so that the salt will really get into the onions before pouring in my tomato. So as the onions is boiling, I'm draining out my chicken stock because this is what I will use to cook the stew. In this chicken stock, there is a lot of flavor because it was well seasoned and well prepared. So the stock will also add very good taste to my stew. Okay, the onions is cooked and it's looking good. It's time for me to pour in my crushed tomato. Just use a quantity of tomato as desired. You know, in this kitchen we don't measure, we don't count, we don't read from the book. We just cook as we want it, as we like it. So just do you in your kitchen, add your own twist to your own cooking. This is how I like cooking my stew. Then I will drop in my cubes as desired. If it is not enough, there's nothing wrong for me to add. I will still add more when I taste it. I will add my black pepper for flavor, not too much because I have fresh pepper. I just need the flavor from the black pepper. Then I'm adding my garlic as desired. This is when I will add all my seasoning agent. This is my ginger. This is my oregano leaf. Rosemary leaves. Italian seasoning. It's going to be very, very flavorful. The aroma is so good. My parsley leaves. Okay. Stir it and taste. Look at the onions, it's caramelizing with the tomato, with all the seasoning agent. And then I will taste for salt and cover it. Oh yeah, it's so good. I will cover it up and allow it to simmer. So when you are cooking stew, we have to stir it so that it will not get burnt. You have to be very careful. Stir it. Don't just cook it and leave it. Then I will add my fresh pepper. Stirring is a continuous process because we don't want anything to be burnt here. Once your food is burnt, it will lose its taste. It will no longer taste good. So continue stirring it. I will still cover it because I really want the tomato to be cooked. I don't like the souring taste of the tomato, so I will still cover it up and allow it to boil. Now this is the final stage. Okay, it has been boiling and looking good. I will still stir it. Should I taste for salt? Let me just taste for salt and all the seasoning. I think I did. Oh my god, it tastes so good. There's no how I cook and it will not taste good. So I'm adding my chicken now. This chicken, like I said, has always been well seasoned and baked, so they don't need to cook for too long. Okay. I hope there will be space for all this chicken. I hope so. Hope there will be space. This is so good. You know, I am a very traditional woman, so I will spread my pan because all these seasonings are good and nothing is wasted in Lady O's kitchen. I don't like waste. Okay. I will also add my other chicken stock that I drained from the pan. I'm adding everything as desired. It doesn't mean that I must pour all the chicken stock. I will use it for some other cooking, some other delicious meal. Just try to push all this chicken inside. And once that is successfully done, I will only cover it and allow it to simmer for a while. And then the chicken stew from Lady O's kitchen is ready. Where's the cover of my pot? Alright. I'll just cover it and allow it to simmer and the chicken stew is ready. So the stew had been steaming after I added the chicken, so I'm checking on it. It's looking so good and gorgeous. It's looking so good and gorgeous. And also tasting good. And this is the chicken stew from Lady O's kitchen. Turn off my heat. I remove it from my point of cooking. And I'm keeping it aside. Thank you guys. Watch, like, subscribe, and watch out for more delicious cooking from Lady O's kitchen. Bye.